Melinda, so glad you could come today.
Well, thank you so much for having me here.
We're excited that your work's going to be here for the show.
Oh, I'm excited to be able to show it at such a fine establishment as Finders Fair.
Welcome to Finders Fair. And we're here today with Melinda McWhite, who's a local artist, and we're going to have a show of her works beginning the first Thursday in April, and it'll be on display for a month. And she's here today to talk to us about her work. So please come on in. Let's have a visit.
Well, thank you.
Well, Melinda, thank you again for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
I know that you were a practicing attorney in Washington, D.C., and then you've moved here to Beaumont. Were you practicing art as well at the same time?
Well, it was very sporadic. My art practice comes in two doses. I really started as a child and continued on up through college, where I started a BFA. And then other interests took over, interest in history and literature, and I ended up in law school. Mm-hmm. Had a very satisfying career, but always with the goal of eventually retiring early and taking up painting as a second career, and that is how it's worked out.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad you're here in Beaumont.
Well, thank you.
You've been painting here in Beaumont, what, about 5 years?
About 5 years, mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. I started after I finished a renovation of a home in town. Went back to complete that long ago abandoned art degree at Lamar and received my BFA from Lamar and have been painting independently since then.
Well, do you have a studio at your home?
Yes, I do. Some wonderful person long ago built a wood shop behind my garage, and I've since converted that to my studio, which gives me ample room and wonderful light.
Wow, that's really nice to have a place for everything where you can leave it out. And,
it's wonderful. Not to have to paint at your dining room table or the breakfast room table.
I can't imagine that environment. But now, tell me the creative process when you begin to paint. Do you have an idea in mind already, or you just, how do you do it?
Depends on what I'm going after. Works such as this one, my abstract works, can start with something as simple as a splash of paint placed strategically somewhere on the canvas. This one started off with an oyster shell as my referent. After I have roughed in a sketch, I put away the referent, and then I go wherever the painting takes me. I develop form, line, whatever I see in that shape. But it's not intended to be a specific object. I want the viewer to come to it and bring their experiences to the forms and read whatever they want to read into them. I give them a starting place. Now, on my subjective works, such as this one, I do start with composed still life. But the process is not seeking to reach a photographic result. I use the subject matter as a referent. I may make changes in the visual impact as I go along. But as I've told people on several occasions, it's a same process, like writing poetry would be a process, but this is free verse. You do what you want. You go where it takes you. This is more like a sonnet. You work within constraints. But they're both very satisfying ways to work.
Which one do you prefer?
Depends on what I feel like when I get up in the morning.
That's good. Because I see this as expressionism.
It's very expressive. It's an expressive process.
I think it would be less confining, but still you've given yourself latitude and freedom in the way you express even still life.
Well, I find working subjectively makes you a stronger abstract painter, and working abstractly makes you a stronger subjective painter. They really have a lot of commonalities that people often don't appreciate.
Well, this painting, where you've got the glass that you can see through, the water, and the range of your talent is really amazing. It's very, very interesting to be able to see that you can do all of these things, that you can express what's inside you like this. That's such a talent.
But you see, the brushwork is very similar. It's all very loose. The compositional elements are somewhat similar.
Yes, but I don't know that you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't put those together. No.
You wouldn't say the same person did?
No, but that's what makes it fun for me. I'm not restricted in what I do as a second career. I'm not looking to necessarily have a look. I have 3 looks. I enjoy them all.
Wonderful. Well, again, we're so glad that y'all joined us today. Melinda's work will be up from the first Thursday in April. That's April the 6th, from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock that evening. And she'll be here to meet with you and talk about her art. And her things will be on display here in the store until the first Thursday in May. That's May the 4th. And again, she'll be here that night. So please, make your arrangements to come out and see her and see her work. We'd be glad to have you, and we thank you very much for watching.